Hey folks, welcome back. So this week we are actually going to be working on several little projects. It's all things that we can get done just in this week, and they are kind of one-off little things. So we aren't going to include any of the big projects like working on the windows for the mill house or the old spreader, nothing like that. Now, all of this was shot before I decided to kind of switch the format and include some of the bigger projects on their own. So the breaks in between projects may be a little bit weird. So the first project for this week is we need to do some work on the old Massey Fergusen tractor. You may recall from a few weeks back that I had pulled the fuel line that connected directly into the tank. I'd pulled that off, rewrapped that with some fuel grade tape on the thread tape, and put it back together because I had a real slow leak coming from around in there, and I thought that's what the problem was. However, I have since discovered that it actually wasn't that, but instead there was a really small crack where that threaded part was soldered into the tank, and there was just a real small crack in that, and that's where it was leaking out of. Now, theoretically, I could have probably had that resoldered on there, but the tank is sort of like a clamshell, so there's two halves that are connected together. And where that seam is that runs all along there, it was getting some rust in that, and I was a little bit concerned that, I might start having some issues with that. And I'd also looked inside the tank, and you could see a little bit of rust inside the tank, which is not really great either. So I decided that the best course of action was just to get a new tank, install that in there, and then I wouldn't have to worry about any of those problems. So next up, we are gonna head all the way up into the backwoods, all the way at the back of the farm. And what we're gonna do is, you may recall, 2 months ago or so, we were up there and we were trying to limb a tree that had uprooted itself and fallen over. And it's a real nice oak tree, I think it's a red oak. And we might as well put that big trunk to good use. So we worked on limbing some of that, and now we gotta go up there and, ready? We gotta retrieve it, bring it back down here so we can mill. Okay, I'll stop with the puns now. Alright, so for today, we are going to do a little bit more work on the Massey Fergusen gas tank, because when I was putting that together, as I was getting what I thought was done, I realized it wasn't put together quite right. And the reason I hadn't been getting it together right is because two little slots that I had bolts fitting into, the slots weren't quite long enough. It wasn't made quite right to fit how it should on there. And so that's why it wasn't going together the way it should. So today we're going to go out there with the Dremel and kind of lengthen these two slots out a little bit, and hopefully that should allow these bolts to fit in right, and we can finish off this little project of replacing that. All right, so today, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take these over by the mill house there, over next to where we were stacking our firewood, and we're gonna chop these up into lengths, get these off of this hay wagon running gear. That way, once we're ready to start doing some work with this, it'll be cleared up and ready to go. So since we got all of the wood stacked up over there, cut to length, what we're gonna work on now is trying to organize our pile of lumber over here. Now we've got kind of one pile over here that's shorter stuff, another one over here that's longer stuff, and we got another little pile of stuff over here that's a mix of short and long ones. And we're gonna attempt to organize it, stack it, sticker it that way, and put it on pallets so it's off the ground, and it'll make it a little bit easier to find random boards. If I say, oh, I need one more 2x4 for whatever project I'm working on, I can just go right over here, grab it, instead of having to dig through the whole pile. All right, well, I think we got all of our shorter lumber stacked up here. So the first front stack here, this is all like 2x stuff, and then the back, on the bottom we have 1x, and then we got a little bit of 4x and 6x on top of that to help weight that light 1x stuff down. So all that stuff is good to go. That'll help that kind of dry out a little bit, get some air circulation going through there. So next up, we are gonna head back outside and do the other half of our project that we were working on yesterday, of trying to get our longer extra lumber beams and stuff out there, get that all stacked up and stickered, and get it off the ground. All right, folks, that is gonna be it for this week's video. We're probably gonna have one like this from time to time where, you know, we just have these little projects that come up that I gotta work on, and I might as well record it and make a video out of it. But I don't think it's gonna be real common, just because for the most part I'm working on other bigger projects like, you know, the windows and stuff like that. But from time to time we'll probably have one like this pop up. So that's gonna be it for this week's video. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.